All right, Matt, we're back at it again, getting ready for a busy weekend of MMA, this time from the Apex facility in Vegas. You got to pay for that $100 million facility some way, somehow, and it's by putting on fights like this. We have the Beast, Irwin Rivera, kicking off the card, taking on the Royal Fighter, Ali Alqaisi. And Matt, I'm really excited about Alqaisi's UFC debut, but I'm going to start it off here because fight fans might be familiar with Irwin Rivera. He's already had a fight under his belt with UFC. It was earlier on this year on 2 days' notice, up a weight class against Giga Chikadze, you know, the kickboxer from Glory. And of course, he lost the fight. There were a couple of judges that scored at 30-27. One of them scored the fight at 30-26 for Chikadze, but it was on short notice, really short notice. You get your foot in the door. Former Titan FC bantamweight champ. I know the record's just 9-5, but he's a real pressure action type of fighter. When it's on the feet, he'll push it forward. He can get takedowns. He is at risk at getting taken down, but typically when he does get taken down, he pops back up to his feet and just continues to put out that output. He's a guy that trains at Sanford MMA, a gym that a lot of people are familiar with. You know, the Burns brothers, Henry Hooft and company. Omar Morales, another guy in some of the lower weight classes that you might be familiar with there. So that's Irwin Rivera. There's a lot of good things to talk about for him. Then on the other side, we have Ali Alqaisi making his UFC debut, the first Jordanian in the UFC. I think that's pretty cool. A guy that will don a nice beret and the flag and take some good pictures over on Instagram. But a really exciting fighter. He's on a 5-fight win streak. He most recently competed with Brave. And in his last fight, he picked up a unanimous decision win over Jeremy Pacatu, a guy that I'm really high on, a guy that I saw fight in one of the first Brave cards that I watched. It was Keith Lee and Pacatu. Lee went for the takedowns, and he was taking on a real good stand-up fighter, Ali Alqaisi, picking up a unanimous decision win there. He's kind of all over the place. He spent time with Phuket Top Team. He spent time with Fortis MMA. He's gotten ready at a lot of different gyms for this one. 10th Planet Las Vegas. He's been there with Casey Hallstatt, a name that a lot of people are familiar with. He's good on the ground. He's a 2-time Kung Fu world champion, and he spent time with the Olympic team of Jordan. So a really well-rounded guy. I just want to put this out there right now. So Irwin Rivera, real pressure guy, really good on the feet. He can get a guy down and really land some good ground and pound. Not good on the back foot. Ali Alqaisi typically likes to stalk his opponents. You can find a lot of fight tape out there on him. And one of the nice things, or one of the weird things that he does, he has a stance unlike any other that I've seen. If you can let me know in the comments somebody that you can really try and familiarize us with, be my guest, all for it. But Ali Alqaisi, you can see it in the picture next to us, but I know it's just a pose, but he stands really weird with his hands up. He keeps a lot of weight on his front foot, and he just edges forward, edges forward. The thing that I'm worried about is it might work well in his first few UFC fights. It might work well against a guy like Irwin Rivera. You never know. But the trouble is, when you leave your front foot out there and your hands high, your body and your legs are at risk. And it's one of those things that 2020 seems to be the theme of the calf kick, and it seems to be the theme of me opening up these prelim fights and droning on and on about them. But I'm really excited. It's a good opportunity for Alqaisi, but against a guy like Rivera, it's a tough one. What do you make of this fight?
So I think this is going to be an exciting fight no matter what. You kind of prefaced it by Ali Alqaisi is just going to move forward. He does have that awkward stance, really good striker, but if the fight hits the mat, I think he will have the advantage over Rivera just because Rivera was odd. Like you had said, there was so many different question marks and X factors coming into his UFC debut. Up a weight class. I guess the guy who could be in the top 15 really pretty soon. I mean, Giga Chikadze is not an easy out for anybody. He didn't win by any means, but he made a good account of himself, ate some bombs in that fight, and I think that's what's really going to come down. Chikadze bounced his shin off Rivera's head multiple times, and Rivera just kept on going forward. It's that constant pressure. So when you have two guys who do have that just constant kind of zombie-esque pressure meeting in the middle, you're going to have an entertaining fight. Irwin Rivera kind of fights a little bit like Frank Camacho, but like 2017 Frank Camacho, not really the more recent one that we've seen as of late. Guy who, if the fight does go to the ground, Camacho might be a little bit more credentialed, but Rivera's good at getting back up to his feet. He's decent that way. But on the feet, he's not afraid to eat 5 shots to give 1. He does play that game a little bit. I think he'll be able to get the win in this fight because against a guy like Ali Alqaisi, it's not like it's the most dangerous puncher you're ever going to face. So I think his forward pressure is going to eventually be able to get to him. And then as the rounds wear on, we saw he was able to go 3 hard rounds with high volume where he took a lot of damage against Chikadze. And I think that experience is really going to help him in this fight.
It's an interesting one because you would think for Rivera to win, it's got to be a fight that takes place on the feet. For Alqaisi to win, he's adept on the feet, but he's more than well-rounded on the ground. If he can get one of those submissions, I know, like I said, 10th Planet Las Vegas. It's a good gym to at least, dip your feet into. And he spent time at all these different gyms. I mean, Fight Ready in Arizona, Fortis MMA in Dallas, and I could go on and on. He really likes to go from spot to spot. The odds, minus 200 for Rivera, plus 165 for Alqaisi in his debut. Over on Tapology to 571 votes. 71% going with Rivera, 61% predicting a decision. I think that's probably a good way to go. I think Rivera is going to be able to just grind on Alqaisi and pick up a decision win here. But good for both guys. Again, second time out for Rivera in his weight class. And for Alqaisi, a decent opportunity against a guy you would almost expect him to take on his UFC debut.
Oh, 100%. I couldn't agree more.
All right, well, we're really looking forward to this card. Great fights on tap. We've got 12 fights on the card, a late edition. We'll get into that one, so you're not going to want to miss that. And an extended look at our main event between Derek Lewis and Alexei Oleinik. Keep it locked in with Fight Night Picks, Matt. And as we always say, let's get into it.